All good.
All righty. Okay, so thank you all for those that are able to join. We may have some other folks join us today, but I want to welcome everyone to our discussion and amazing panel, Cheat Codes. And so my name is Natalie Reed, and I am the proprietor of Ready to Read LLC, and I've gathered these amazing young folks who are college graduates, currently about to graduate college, or new into entering college for an amazing discussion that we're calling Cheat Codes. And why are we calling it Cheat Codes? Well, they're going to give you some life lessons, things that you can definitely understand better and also get a better understanding of as upcoming or potential college students or those who have walked the walk and talked the talk or those who are preparing for that. So these cheat codes are things that will help you to be your best self and to embrace the journey, whether you want to go to college, trade school, or you need to make a life plan. And so without further ado, we're going to get started with introducing our panel, and I'm going to have them introduce who they are, where they go to school at, and also give you just some information about their next steps in life. And we'll do this briefly, and then we'll jump into the conversation. So to kick us off, Nick, if you could jump in and tell us more about yourself.
Absolutely. So, hello everyone. My name's Nick Benjamin. I graduated from Towson University with a Bachelor of Science in Art and Design. So yeah, I spent my time at Towson just studying graphic design. I took some animation courses and got into sculpture as well. And the sculpture classes led me to what I'm doing next, which is I'm trying to get certs to become a welder. And a big passion of mine is roller coasters and theme parks. So I'm hoping I can work in that industry.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. And next up, we'll have Soraya jump in and introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Soraya White. I currently go to Florida Atlantic University. I'm a senior graduating this semester and I'm studying biological sciences. And then with my bachelor's in biological sciences, I'll be taking that and going to pharmacy school next August.
Great. All right. Thank you, Soraya. And next up, we'll have Grace Walker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Walker. I'm a senior. I go to North Carolina A&T. I'm majoring in business information technology. And when I graduate next year, I plan to work with the Department of Defense for 2 years. I'm in a scholarship program with them. I plan to go more into depth about that as we go into the questions, but I'll be working with them hopefully and with cybersecurity or IT for the next 2 years.
All right. Thank you, Grace. And last but not least, we have Elijah.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is Elijah Labishir. I'm a sophomore computer information system major at Howard University. And basically, what I want to work into is either machine learning or AI in general. I also might pivot into cybersecurity when it comes to my coursework, but right now I'm working in intro to software design classes. So that's what I'm basically working in right now. And then I'll work my way more towards information security and AI. So I'll learn a little bit more about machine learning and then focus on what I want to do more into my career. So I develop more of a niche once I graduate.
Excellent. All right. So, what we want to jump into first is I want you all to just start us off by talking about what surprised you most from transitioning from high school into college. So, let's have Grace, if you could start us off with that question. What surprised you most?
Um, what surprised me most about the transition was definitely the course load. I think when I in freshman year I had about 4 or 5 classes, and then in high school I don't really remember how many classes I had, but I remember in high school they would always say that like it's not the same or it's harder, and I didn't really believe what they said at first, but going there and then getting used to living on campus with getting used to the classes and getting up early. And for some reason, getting up for 8 a.m. class is different than getting up at 7, 6 a.m. for high school. I don't know why, but it's just two completely different things for some reason. So that's what I had to get adjusted to is the coursework and just getting used to living on campus. Another thing is I am from Pittsburgh and I went to North Carolina, so that's about 6 hours apart away. So one of the main things that I struggled with was also being away from my family, my friends, and a lot of what helped me during that is just talking to them every day. Yeah, I'd say that's what I struggled with the most.
All right, anybody else want to jump in and respond to that question?
I think what surprised me the most with the transition from high school to college is really the flexibility and freedom. In high school, you're kind of on a strict schedule where you're going to school for, I don't know, anywhere from 6, 8 hours a day straight. In college, you have a flexibility that if on, like for instance, on Mondays and Fridays, I don't have classes because that's just my personal preference. I want to give myself more days to do whatever I want to do in my free time and also to study. So you have a lot of flexibility that I think it's not available in high school because you're on a strict schedule. So I think it's a positive thing, and you kind of can just build your life and your schedule how you want it to be. And that's a good transition, but it can get kind of risky if you kind of abuse it. So you have to have some self control with that flexibility and independence.
Excellent. Anybody else want to jump in there?
Yeah, I definitely want to go ahead and second the freedom aspect. That was for sure the biggest thing for me. It's, you're not under the watchful eye of your parents anymore. You really are on your own, like pretty much for the first time if, you haven't experienced that. So like staying on top of your classes, making sure you're going up and or waking up and getting to class, things like that. That all relies on you, making sure you're turning your assignments in on time. So yeah, I think it was very, very liberating, but it was also very scary at the same time. But I think that's the whole fun of it. So just try not to, think about it too much. But again, just, you're on your own now, so you got to take it serious.
I also wanted to add on to that. I felt like as soon as I came into college, the amount of information, events, and like people that you'll see on campus is actually like it's a lot. There's so many events that you'll want to go to. There's so many people that you want to meet. There's so much stuff that you'll just sweep by in your emails, maybe your messages, you're in a group chat, maybe one of your friends you might meet on campus. There's just so much, there's so many things, especially when it came to like my first couple weeks on campus. I learned about like so many different clubs and organizations. And like for us at Howard, we have Bison Week. So when it comes to the freshmen, we have like a couple weeks ahead of time before all the other like upperclassmen come back on campus. And like when it comes to that, there's just like a ton of events and like it's really welcoming for freshmen. So when it comes to that, it was just like a whole lot of new information and things coming all in at the same time that I got to figure out, oh, what I might miss, what I might not want miss, all those different types of things. So when it comes to being a freshman, it was definitely a lot more surprising.
Excellent. And I know that all of you come from different institutions. So some of you are at HBCUs, some of you are at predominantly white institutions, etc. And so the next question I want to ask is specifically like, what is something that you wish you would have known about college before arriving, especially navigating as a Black student on campus, regardless of what type of institution you're in?
I wanted to also start on this. I wanted to say what's like something that I wish I'd known that I before I came to college is definitely like developing that niche because when it comes to like establishing an industry that you want to work in, there's like so many different branches of work that it can go into. And then like you might want to develop something of your own and you want to make a spin on it on top of that. So when it comes to coming into college, there's just like so much research that you're gonna have to do in your overall time that like getting just like even a small hurdle on it, either a program, a certification, or just like a little bit more knowledge on the internet, or maybe even from like an alum or somebody you might message before you come to campus. There's just like so much more you can learn just getting a head start, trying to get more information in like your own industry because there's going to be other people who are also you're going to be working with, and you're probably going to be seeing those people throughout most of your career or like your journey throughout the entirety of college. And you want to make some of those friends and have some of those people to like rely on so you can piggyback off of each other and gain more information. So like once you actually graduate, you'll be a lot more confident in where you want to work.
All right, feel free to jump in. Any other speakers on like navigating what you wish you would have known as a high school student, especially as a Black student going into college.
So for me, I have two things that I wish I would have known. I go to a PWI, and for one, uh, when you're at a PWI as a Black person, it's kind of hard to make friends, but I wouldn't too much focus on that because the friends will come. Um, and you can kind of start to feel alone or, just kind of like no one wants to talk to you. But if anything, you can just take that and turn it into a positive. Just make yourself stand out more. Maybe start talking to people because depending on where your school is, some people have never experienced other people of different races and cultures to a certain degree. And so I think it can work both ways of just maybe you talking to people, engaging with different people. I think it's also important to do research on the city that your school is in. That's very important. One reason I'm going to say it's important is because for my school, I transferred here. I was at a different institution before I came to Florida Atlantic. Um, and a lot of colleges are having a problem with housing crises where they don't have enough housing for the students. And for my school specifically, even some freshmen don't get housing. So it's getting to a point that when you're past your freshman year, you're going to have to get off campus housing. And it's important to research the city that your school is in because you could be in a situation like I am in. Florida Atlantic is in Boca Raton. Boca Raton is a notoriously expensive city in Florida and South Florida. And the cheapest rent you're going to find here is like $1,600 per person. So you kind of want to do that research because even if you go into your freshman year and you have housing, it's probably not going to be guaranteed for your upcoming years, especially with more and more people going to college. So I think that's something that's very important, which I wish I would have known. Also, as a pre-med, pre-pharmacy, pre-dental, any like pre-health profession, uh, really try to get yourself acclimated in that as soon as possible when you get to college because you have it's very competitive. You have to build your resume a lot, and a lot of students don't know that. They think, oh, I can just go apply to be in med school or dental or pharmacy school and not have anything on my resume, but it's not that easy. And you want to get a lot of leadership roles and get involved in clubs and research and things like that. So I think that's important if you're going to be any type of pre-health major. And that's what I wish I would have known.
Excellent points. Excellent points. Grace or Nick, do you guys want to add to that, or do you want to move to the next question?
I could throw something in, specifically about the friends thing. I do think finding, your circle, finding a good tight circle as much as or as quick as you can will be very beneficial for you, especially, starting out, because again, like you're leaving high school, like for the most part, you probably won't know anyone, depending on where you go. And I think it's really important to establish some like solid connections or work your way to getting there because, I guess people already know, not everyone's going to be in your corner. And, that's okay because you don't need everyone in your corner. But if you have a solid foundation, a good solid group of friends to help you get through, you'll make it.
And Nick, can I just ask you just if you could elaborate, and Grace, you can chime in as well. But what are some specific groups that you joined or communities that you found when getting to college? Like, what would you recommend that people go or, potential students go to really start to establish community? Because that is so important since you're away from your family and what you've known up until you went to college.
I think I would say look into the clubs. Yeah, look into the clubs that your university offers because that's probably the spot you're gonna find the most like-minded people. I mean, you guys are obviously in a club for the same thing, so you can at least start there. I know for myself, at least my freshman year, I committed to Bridgewater College for soccer, so I had my team, but not everybody, is on a sports team or something like that. So I was very thankful for that. I just had a strong group of guys just, to be able to be there for me, pick me up when I'm feeling down, and just like a a real strong sense of brotherhood. But again, if you're not on a team or anything like that, I would definitely say look into clubs.
Yeah, I definitely agree. One of the things that had helped me freshman year, I was in the honors program. So we were able to go to the school my freshman year about 2 weeks before everyone else. So being there for those 2 weeks, I was able to establish some relationships in the honors college and some people that I'm still close with up to my senior year. So another thing I'd say is like everyone was saying clubs. For example, right now I'm in this club AIS, which has to do with my major. So definitely try to join a lot of clubs that are in your major. Another thing that a lot of schools have for clubs is they have cities. Like for example, there's no Pittsburgh club, sadly, or but I know they have like I don't know what like LA clubs like they just have clubs different cities like Michigan, Maryland clubs. So try to join whatever state city that you're from club cuz there's actually a lot of people that I met from Pittsburgh that I just never met. Pittsburgh's not too big of a city, but it was nice to see people from A&T that went to Pittsburgh. So just try to join clubs that really relate to your major and also just relate to what you want to do.
All right, excellent. I love just the community ideas, and we're going to kind of go into talking about the money. And so, Soraya or Elijah, not icing you out there, but if there's any clubs that you would recommend, you guys can put those in a chat too for those folks who are joining us and listening in on the conversation. But I do want to make some time to really talk about money because, of course, in these days and times and the current status of the economy, etc. So I know folks who are listening to this conversation would love to know what are some ways that you've navigated paying for college and what have been some struggles, what would be some recommendations. So feel free to jump in and talk about some of those things. I would say, Elijah, if you could kick us off with that question since you are newer to navigating this, and then definitely want to hear from everyone else as well.
Oh, okay. I would say initially when it came to me like looking at like financials and scholarships, it was kind of a lot more difficult because especially for like our household, it was definitely a lot more difficult when it came to the FAFSA because of our like income and things of that nature. But I felt that a lot of the smaller scholarships actually helped out a lot more than I thought. A lot more of the local ones that you'll find in your towns or in your cities, those will actually support you a lot. Like, I don't know about specific names because when it came to like the ones in New York, they like came in different categories. Some of them would like go down to majors, some of them would be race, and then, financials and then things of that nature. So I would say trying to find those niche for those scholarships because there's definitely a lot of scholarships that some people just don't apply to and you'll just catch on the low. One of the scholarships that I actually caught was I'm pretty sure was the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Yeah, they usually have like a couple of those. They're always trying to give back to the black students. So I feel like definitely if you'd want to catch one of those, you definitely look on their website or whenever they're rolling around every semester. So they usually always have like a couple. Or if you want to look for either if it's like specific organizations, some fraternities or sororities, they have those too. If you know some people in your family who like might be a part of those, they might be able to help you out with that. So I feel like when it comes to those types of scholarships and financials, those definitely play a huge role. But I also feel like more of the smaller community ones, you'll catch a lot more of those. And those little hundreds, 200s, 500s, they'll start building up compared to those, really, really big scholarships that all people are applying to like across the nation.
Thank you, and feel free to, anyone else that wants to jump in on this. One thing I would like to also know for those of you who will continue to respond to this conversation about financial aid is when is the best time to really strike and, giving out, calling out specific scholarships like Elijah did, appreciate it. I'm adding that to the chat as well. But when should, folks jump on top of
I think that as far as FAFSA and applying to financial aid, I think a week prior to when the FAFSA date is going to open, I think you should start getting your materials together, let your parents know FAFSA opens next week so they can start getting their materials together, because it's best to do it when it first opens, because it kind of goes like, if the sooner you apply, the more money you are able to get. And also, another recommendation is, I've caught this sometimes, but if you log on to the FAFSA website, maybe like a week before, I think it opened like October 1st this year. So it usually opens around that time every year. But if you log on a week before, sometimes they do a beta launch that they don't let people know about. And it's basically them testing out the launch, and you can apply even before they fully open it. So just check the website maybe a few times a week before that opening date for FAFSA. But in terms of financial aid has been a big, and scholarships has been a big aspect for me in college. I'm a first generation college student, and personally, my parents would not be able to afford to put me through college. So that's been a big thing for me. And so FAFSA helps, but not all the way. My recommendation as far as scholarships is to ask your school for money. Communication is a big part in college, and you can get a long ways with just communicating. Every semester, I reach out to my school's financial aid department asking what funds and scholarship or grants and extra money that may be available. And every semester does not fail. I get some sort of grant or scholarship that I was not expecting. So I think communication is a very big part, even if you have to dramatize something. Communication is a big part for you to get the money, because it's money that's just sitting there. So why not, go for that money? Another big thing is, I'm pretty sure every school should have this, but my school has a scholarship portal where they give you informations about scholarships, and some of those scholarships may be through the school and some may be externally. Um, I usually apply for the ones through my school, and I've got everyone that I've applied to. So I would definitely check your school's scholarship portal. And let's say you do go and check your school scholarship portal, and you're saying, well, I see all the funding they have, so I'm not going to ask my financial aid office. Still ask. There's lots of money for them to just give out, especially if you go to a big institution. They're just sitting on money. Always ask if you're ever in an emergency. A lot of schools have emergency funding. You can reach out and ask for that. And I think it's just very important to and communicate with your school's financial aid office every semester. Check the scholarship portal every semester and just be ready. A personal tip of mine is I would always have an essay ready, because most scholarships are going to ask you for an essay, and just write that essay on a broad topic, something like, what are your goals in life? What is your purpose of being in college? Something that's broad, because most of the time they're either going to not ask you a prompt and just ask you to write about something you're passionate about, or the prompt is going to be very broad. And even if it's not, you can still tweak that essay to fit their prompt. And also always have a letter of recommendation on hand, because some scholarships may ask for that too. So that way, if you see a scholarship, you don't even have to say, oh, well, I don't have my letter of rec or my essay done. You already have it saved on your computer, on your phone, or whatever. You can upload it and apply very quickly to the scholarships. So that's my advice when it comes to financial aid and financials in college.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Those are excellent tips. I put some of those things in the chat as well. Is there anything else anyone would add about just navigating financially, especially maybe some of you are doing internships or job opportunities, things of that nature, and want to give some tips on how to manage that?
Another scholarship other than Thurgood College Marshall Fund, there's also the UNCF United Negro College Fund. I applied for some of those my freshman year, and my mom, like, she helped me look and apply for so many scholarships. And like she was saying, it's really good to have those essays on hand, because most scholarships, they're they're all the same, not all the same essays, but they're all the same prompts, like she was saying. So really, and also check your school emails, like she was saying, the scholarship portal, A&T has one. That's something that really helped me, especially my sophomore year, applying to those ones. Actually, the scholarship program that I'm in now, there's two that if I didn't check my email, that I would never got them. So definitely checking your email every single day while you're in college is something. You might miss out on a great internship opportunity or even scholarship opportunity. So definitely make sure that you're checking out for your email every single day, just with scholarships and also with classwork in general.
All right, and so we'll thank you so much. Excellent. What I would like to move on to is just talking about just now that we've gotten through some scholarships, and we're going to come back to the excellent question too regarding what would you say to your younger self. So I think we'll probably end on that as well. But I would like us to talk about life on campus, and so especially being Black and Brown students. How have you ever had to advocate for yourself? And what are some strategies that you would share with folks, even if you're at a PWI or an HBCU? What are some things that you're doing that you would recommend, with those on the line and listening to the conversation of how they should advocate?
I'll go ahead and start off on this. I think it's just really important to just know who you are and just be comfortable about being you. Just be comfortable in your own body. You're gonna meet a whole bunch of different people. Gonna be people, good people, or maybe the opposite, or I don't know. Just again, like I said previously, everyone's not gonna be in your corner, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay. Just know who you are. Be confident in your own skin, and just don't let anyone try and tell you you can't do anything or try and put you down, because they're just projecting themselves, their own negativity onto you. So just don't feed into it, and just be confident in who you are.
Feel free to jump right in.
I think advocating for yourself is very important. Uh, Sticking up for yourself is important. Just make sure it's worth it. If it's something that's arbitrary, don't even worry about it. If someone thinks something about you, let them think it. But when it comes to something um, like grades or maybe like material, just talk to your professor. Like go to your professor's office hours. That's another thing, especially if you go to a bigger school and you're in lecture halls that have 300 plus people in them. Your professor is not going to know you. And so if you're struggling in a class or you feel like the material may not be fair or the grading may not be fair, just go to your professor's office hours and advocate for yourself and just say, like I know the materials, but maybe the professor's testing style is not equipped to you and that you can work something out for them. So just make sure to always advocate for yourself.
One thing that I would have people do is to make sure that they stay in contact with their advisors. So I know at A&T, everyone's advisors changes. Like my freshman year, I don't have the same one I have now up to my senior year, but I know a lot of people that I am friends with or just in general at my school who have had to advocate for themselves with graduating late or not having enough classes or having to punch in a lot of summer classes. So I'd say make sure that from your freshman year, you're getting stuff in writing. Like if you go to your advisor's office and you're like, I'm good. All my classes are good for next semester. By the time I hit sophomore, junior year, will I be ready to graduate by the time I hit senior year? Just to make sure that you know how many credits that you need fully. For my major, I need 120 credits. So just making sure that you're up to date with when you're graduating and just make sure that you graduate on time because I know I have a lot of people who unfortunately couldn't because their advisors had messed up their schedule. So definitely try to be on top of that.
I would like to add to the advisor part. My recommendation is to not rely on your advisor. They deal with a lot of different students, and they get confused, and honestly they're not focused on just you and your major. You are. So um I think an important thing to do is always have your degree audit pulled up. Still meet with your advisor, take some of their recommendations, but I would say to take it with a grain of salt and really to rely on your degree audit, because that is a document that's telling you everything that you need for your degree without any stipulations. So um I found that when it comes to registering for classes and deciding what's needed for graduation, what classes do I need to take this semester, different things like that, the degree audit is the most important thing, and I would rely on my degree audit to sign up for classes. And like I said, still meet with your advisor, but take it with a grain of salt because they can lead you down the wrong direction. And I've seen a lot of people rely on their advisors and end up in really messed up situations, like having to change their major, not able to graduate, not having certain things completed that they need to have. So really rely on your degree audit. Annotate it. When you finish a class, highlight it, mark it off, just keep annotating it over and over again.
I was gonna dial it back. I wanted to talk a little bit about that imposter syndrome when it comes to being on campus because I feel like, especially a lot when I had to tackle like halfway through my freshman year, when I started like hopping on those LinkedIn posts and you would see all those people doing great, you'd see their achievements and you'd see everything that you're doing, and you're gonna look at it and you're gonna assume that, I should be in that place and maybe I'm not performing good enough, but a lot of the time that usually isn't the case. You honestly just have to keep moving forward. You got to keep up your studies. You got to keep up your research. You got to make sure that you're focusing on what you want to do because this is your journey and you make sure that you focus on that. So I feel like definitely when it comes to this could stretch to any type of university or any like grade that you're in, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, definitely focusing on your own journey and making sure that you're pushing towards your own goals and you're working at your own pace because when it comes to that imposter syndrome, there's going to be a lot of people that you're going to think that are doing way better than you, and it's going to hurt, but it's going to help you. It's going to make you stronger, and it's going to help you deal with more of those experiences in the future.
I love that, and thank you, Elijah, for like circling back to that. I think that it's a great transition into you all talking about the majors that you chose and why. And I love that you added that, like about staying the course. So like, how do you stay the course? Like, this is where you can kind of talk about your cheat codes. Like, how are you guys staying focused and getting to the destination or have gotten to the destination of graduation? So tell us about why you chose your major. How did you go in undecided? And what helps you to stay focused to get to goal? Or in like we have two, Grace and Soraya, who are about to graduate. We have Nick, who has graduated, and Elijah's coming up next. Like, how are you staying that course? What are some strategies? And feel free to transparently share some stories. I know that there's some in there. I know we're talking very high level, just giving tips, but you have your peers on the line. They want to know the juice, right? And so, what are some of those things? So I'll leave it for you guys to kick it off, and start that part of the conversation.
I wanted to start a little bit about on that conversation, especially when it came to like the end of terms for my freshman year. There were a lot of people who had got like a lot of these internships, and like that's really, I mean, it's less and less rare every day. But when it comes to those freshmen having those internships going in, it elevates them in a really high way. And I wasn't really expecting that when it came to a lot of my peers because I already knew that they were doing great, but then they just keep pushing those barriers. And I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I should push myself a little bit harder. So when it came to the end of my freshman year, this actually it kind of helped me piggyback on what I wanted to be working on now because I'm in this program with Boeing. It's just called the Boeing Academy. I'm with the fall cohort and we basically work on projects and things of that nature. And obviously a lot of it is catered towards tech because the whole department of digital business and like cybersecurity at Howard University, they actually focus on that more often. So when it came to that program, I actually saw a lot more opportunity well, when it came to my major for computer information systems, when it came to certifications, because a lot in the tech industry, certifications play a huge role in where you're going to be in like a lot of your positions, especially when it comes to the projects as well, because having those certifications give you those fundamentals to work on those projects. So when they see those like specific certification, because on a lot of roles, when you actually like apply outside of college, they're gonna like some of these certifications are gonna be like the bare minimum along with your degree and your experience and things of that nature. So I honestly feel like when it comes to me right now, if it wasn't having an internship, me working on these certifications during the school year and learning those fundamentals while also helping on piggybacking like back to my classes as well, it also helps, being able to learn from two different angles at the same time. So I feel like that definitely played a role when I was trying to work my way more into my career because obviously internships are going to help, but like there's different methods to gain that type of experience and knowledge in your sort of field, depending on where you work.
Excellent, love that. Go ahead and jump right in, guys.
Yeah, I'll go
When
ahead.
it
No,
oh
you got
no, you can go.
it. All right. I think for me, just personally, my whole college experience, I feel like I was just very, very lost. At least for majority of my time while I was there. So I want to say don't feel obligated, that you have to go into a certain career or a certain field just because, this person is doing it, or, obviously you're going to have pressure from your parents, maybe they did something like for me, again, they were, business. That was the most like, or one of the more generic fields you can get into. I feel like, at least for myself. But again, I quickly found out, I was like, hey, I don't want to do this. So I switched gears. I was undecided for a little bit while I was at community college, and then before transferring into Towson, it made me get into art. I knew I wanted to do something in the art field. I wasn't exactly sure what. So when I did go into graphic design and art and design, I was somewhat enjoying the classes, some more than others, but it just wasn't clicking for me. So again, I was just feeling very lost, but up until wasn't until my very last semester. I took a bunch of I was taking more digital classes. I'm like, I need to change of pace. So I switched it up. I went to sculpture. I took a woodworking class, a metal casting class, and even a jewelry making class. And from there, it just clicked. Light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I don't want to be, sitting at a desk or in front of a screen all day. I want to, work on tangible stuff, work with my hands. And that led me to where I am now, trying to get my certs to become a welder. So again, just, keep trying different things and don't feel pressured, by society, or anybody to go into a certain field because you know what you want at the end of the day. You're your own person. You can't let other people make decisions for you. So I think it's really important to just try different things, keep searching for that thing, that's gonna, and hopefully the light bulb in your head will go off, and you'll find what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, to add to that, I think it's very important that if you go into college thinking, I don't know, I want to be a doctor, and then you start as a pre-med major and you're majoring in something like biology, chemistry, something like that, and you find yourself really miserable, I think it's best to back out as soon as you can because these decisions that we make now are the decisions that are going to affect us for the rest of our life. You don't want to be stuck in a career where you're miserable every single day. You want to do something that's actually enjoyable to you. So going into college, I've always known that I wanted to be a pharmacist. So I went in as a biological science major. Um, I love science. I've always loved science. I've always loved STEM. So I knew that aspect of me getting my degree in biological science was good for me while I was doing it. But the pharmacy part I was unsure of. And so this ties back into internships or working a job. I went ahead and worked in the pharmacy as a pharmacy technician to make sure that was an environment that I really wanted to immerse myself in every day. And if I could see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And working in the pharmacy really confirmed that for me. And so I recommend that if you feel like that whatever career choice you may want to be, make sure to immerse yourself in that field. And if you can't picture yourself doing it every day for the rest of your life, then you might want to think about a second plan and for something else to do. And don't feel like you're letting someone down or letting yourself down because you change your mind. At the end of the day, like Nick said, it's your life you have to live. So just make sure to be very realistic and honest with yourself when it comes to that.
With my major, business IT, I picked that major because when I first was deciding on where I wanted to go, I always knew that I wanted to go to HBCU, but I just didn't know what major I wanted. So to pick my major, I just thought about what I like to do in high school, what I think I would like to do in college. So that's how I came up with business IT, just because I liked being on computers is usually what I tell people. But as now that I get into my major, I'm doing a lot of coding, and I realized that coding is just not for me. But I've also realized that there's so many other fields within IT that you can do, and I learned a lot of that through my internship with the Department of Defense. So that goes back to researching your major, because I was gonna switch my major, but just in honesty, I just didn't. I just felt like it was too late for me to do that. I was gonna do it my junior year, but I just didn't want to have to stay in school longer. So I was just like, I'll just thug it out. But yes, that just really goes back to really researching your major, because I was going to switch it to management, but I just felt like I didn't really have enough time. I wouldn't say I completely regret it, because like I'm about to graduate. I have a promised job, so hopefully with that I'll be able to do more work within IT. But I'd say definitely just try to research what you want to do. Maybe think about in high school what you like to do, what type of classes you took, and just think about what you can put that into college classes.
Excellent. And I just want to say thank you all. I don't know if the audience, I think there should be like 1,000 emojis going up, because I don't know if you've heard the talent on this call. I mean, we have pharmacy, we have Department of Defense prospects, like, Grace is getting into that. Nick is doing welding. We have Elijah doing work with bowling. I mean, these are huge strides and amazing for someone, folks that are so young to be able to navigate those things while doing academic studies. And so, one thing that's very important for you all to definitely drop jewels about is how you balance it all, maintain your mental health and well being. That is so important. I really think that it's important to, speak on that. What are your strategies? Because I'm sure you're hearing what's going on in the world. You're trying to focus academically. Some of you may need to find financial resources at times. So, how do you balance it all? What do you do to make sure that you're being your best self and having balance?
I'd say I do. I don't know if someone's talking. Okay. So I'd say I do, for example, freshman year, when I was talking about me just struggling with being away from home and having to juggle like 4 to 5 classes, and, being new on campus away from home. A lot of what helped me was to really just talk to my family every day. I know it sounds crazy. I used to eat Chick-fil-A like every single day, but I'd say just to find some type of either activity, the gym, for example, or just finding that food that you can eat, a TV show, just having that time alone. And now my senior year, I really feel like a lot of what has helped me is that self-care. Like I started going out to eat by myself. Also what helped is me my freshman year we weren't allowed to drive, so having my car sophomore year also helped mentally, because paying for Ubers is a crazy amount of money. One of the things that I try to tell freshmen is to really try to save your money. The money that you get from your graduation party, don't go spend it all on, clothes that you want or shoes that you want. Obviously, you can, but really try to save that money and not try to spend it, especially your flex money that you get from school. If you have a school plan, make sure not to spend it on all that. But yeah, the main things that has helped me, especially as a senior, is going to the gym, spending time with a lot of family and friends. My time management also freshman year wasn't too well. So what helped me with that now is to taking a lot of notes on what I need to do. I have a lot of alarms set on my phone. I know it sounds crazy, but I set like so many alarms, but that helps me say I have an assignment or an exam. That helps me be like, okay, I have that a mental note of I have that to do, because sometimes, when you're starting as a freshman, you have so much work to do and you might miss an assignment or two. So getting a journal or just writing notes even in your phone can help you keep note of those assignments to do. So that's what helped me with my time management.
I think for me right now, this is a really interesting topic to talk about because it's actually affecting me right now. I don't think I've really, typical stress. We all feel stressed, but right now in my senior year, I feel the most stressed out that I've ever felt in my college career. And it may sound crazy because usually your senior year is a little relaxed, but for one, being a senior is really scary because we're about to step out into the real world. Like I know like going to college, you like leave home and everything, but you're still around other students and you're not really completely immersed in the real world yet. So that's another thing. But also for me, especially if you're gonna apply to some sort of uh, grad program, whether that's a master's program, a PhD program, law school, med school, pharmacy school, dental school. Doing that while you're trying to graduate is really hard. It's honestly really hard. And I've been experiencing a lot of stress with that and just feeling like my mind is very clouded. But to help me with that, I've just had to learn that, what's done is done. You can't go back and fix anything like, oh, I wish I would have got an A in that class instead of getting a B in that class. Like what's done is done. Relying on your circle, whether it's family, friends, relying on them, also taking time to do things that you enjoy and having some fun is very important to balance it out. And also a big thing that's helped me is like my faith. Like if you're faith based and you believe in whatever you believe in, that's really helped me, try to balance my mind out and balance everything out with, the stressful time that I'm going through. So I would definitely say like do things you like to do, practice self-care. If you're faith-based, practice your faith and just take some time to breathe and don't try to dwell on the past or the what ifs and just continue moving forward and know that you're going to do great.
I really think taking care of your mind and body is the most crucial aspect of getting through college and even after that. I'm sure people already know, but after college, it's in school, like you're out in the real world. It doesn't get much easier. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big, big, big fitness guru. I try to stay in the gym as much as possible, just try and stay fit and healthy. Your physical health is directly tied to your mental health. So doing things like getting proper exercise, sunlight, proper diet, obviously this stuff as a college student, it's a lot easier said than done. But if you can prioritize this stuff when everything else is falling around you, like if you can keep yourself together, that will take you so, so far, even just beyond college. And beyond the physical, getting into the mental, doing things like practicing meditation, journaling. Again, if you're religious, just stay in your faith, stuff like that. Anything you can do to, keep you afloat, keep your mind and body intact, like please do it. I highly advocate for anybody. If you aren't a fitness person, become one. It's gonna skyrocket your quality of life. So yeah, that's a big important thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, first off, great answers off of everyone. It's like a really huge accumulation for me when it comes to just like my own mental health. I feel like just establishing those things that you just find fun. It's really easy to do a lot on most of these campuses, especially like when it comes to clubs and things of that nature. When it came to last year, I was like really focused on run club. I'm kind of trying to focus in on it more this year as well. I try to stay active in the gym. I also picked up breakdancing this year. So I mean, I'm at the president of breakdancing, so I sometimes go to that. And then what else? I also like playing games. So, sometimes I'm in the esports lab and I go hang out with them. Sometimes we play games. Sometimes when I have time, maybe in between class or maybe during the like Thursday, Friday when it's towards the end of the week and everyone's mellowing down. So, basically just finding that time to separate the class and the stress and all those different types of things, just being able to separate it and find that little extra time in between your day or towards the end of the week just to dial down and calm down and like just enjoy yourself because this is college. This is going to be like one of the best times of your life. Well, when it comes to like especially having fun and things of that nature, so I feel like you should definitely try to experience everything that's going to happen around campus. Go to those events, meet those people, try that random food that you saw, try to experience all those things because, it might be a while before you experience something like that again. So I feel like taking advantage of it while you can, when you can, is really, really important.
Well, I mean, this is amazing. And to know that you all are doing amazing things and you're balanced, to hear that and, that honest feedback regarding that. And thank you, Soraya, for even your transparency. Soraya is about to graduate very soon and Grace will soon follow. So Soraya will be done in December, Grace in May. So they are at crunch time. So, round of applause to them for sure. I want us to, spend our last minutes just talking about looking ahead and adulting. And so, as I just mentioned, we have one graduate, Nick, on the line, and then we also have Soraya and Grace who will soon follow, as well as Elijah will be coming up in a few years. And so, what does life look like after college for you all? If you can talk about that. And if you could give a piece of advice to someone on the line, especially our high schoolers and that will, eventually and soon take the journey toward college or some other path in life, what would you say to them? What would you say to your younger self? So I know that was a lot of different levels, but just kind of just leave us with something great. Tell us what you expect to do after college, and then what would be that advice that you would give?
I guess I'll go ahead and start as the graduate. Um, so after graduating, things things have been quite scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's just I was in school. College took me about six and a half years to get through. It was a long, rough journey, but I am proud of myself for pushing through it and reaching the end goal that I dedicated myself to to accomplishing. And it's like after that now it's just, you were doing that for so long, you had a clear goal in mind, you hit that goal, and now it's, it's back to square one. So it's like I'm restarting, I'm learning something completely new, and even then that's been tough and challenging. I'm actually like this week, I'm in training or I'm doing the test, to get the certifications, and it's been tough, it's been challenging, but it's also been fun and exciting just being able to, get out into the world and start doing something new. Just, becoming better as a person and just continue to keep growing and learning through different experiences and especially failure too. I guess that's the big thing, or the big message for me is just don't be afraid to fail. If you're gonna fail, whatever you do in life, sometimes things will not go as planned, no matter how bad or how much you prepare, you will still, you'll fail, and that's okay. It's just depends on whether or not, you can get back up, take that failure and learn from it, because that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You can get to your goal, whether you get there quickly or it takes you a longer time. As long as you get there, you got there. So again, just don't be afraid to fail and really just put yourself out there.
Excellent. I would say Soraya, you want to go next since you're up to graduate?
Yeah, so with graduation, I feel like there can be a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty, I know at least for me, is very scary because I always like to have a plan and know what my next step is going to be. But as Nick said, like no matter how much you plan, everything is not going to go as planned. So whether that uncertainty is job security, what your next step is, if you don't know your next step, um, are you going to get into your grad school that you're applying to? Just try not to stress about it and just know that it'll all work out eventually, even if it's not when you want it to work out. you'll figure out a plan sooner or later, or it'll work out in your favor. So, yeah, with me, I've been applying to pharmacy schools. I've been going through my admission periods. I've did interviews. So far, every school that I've applied to, I've got in. I've got into Howard Pharmacy, University of Georgia Pharmacy, um, a host of different schools for pharmacy, but I still haven't picked a school yet, and that's the uncertainty for me is where am I going to live at? You know what I'm saying? So don't try to stress about it too much and know that it'll all work out in your favor. And a big tip and advice that I would give is always communicate. Communication can get you so far in life. Communication is a big asset to have. You don't know unless you ask, and I think communication is very important.
All right, Grace, you want to jump in there? Thank you so much. Excellent tip.
Yes. So, for when after I graduate next year, I'm in this scholarship program with the Department of Defense. It's a 2-year acquisition program. Where the second pilot. There's 4 schools: University of Arizona, Purdue, um, North Carolina A&T, and I'm blanking on the last school right now. But there's 4 schools. We're the only HBCU. So with that, I have to work 2 years with them. I'm not sure exactly where I'll be. This summer, I interned in Orlando, Florida with PWIs, working on AI. With this government shutdown, I'm sure everyone's heard about it. It's that also a little bit of uncertainty because obviously, like they say we have this promised job, but now they're telling us that they're they're not sure because of this government shutdown. So but I'm just praying and trying to stay positive really in this, that everything will work out. I'm gonna still keep applying to jobs, hoping that the internship that I had this past summer will reach out to me. They said that they would reach out to us, so I'm praying that that is where I will be, which is hopefully I'll be in Orlando, Florida for the next 2 years. But if not, I'm gonna just keep applying to DoD jobs because I have to be with them for 2 years. Then after my 2 years, I'm not sure if I want to stay in the government or go in the private sector. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And a lot of another some advice that I would give, basically what I've said before, but to do research, make sure you're applying for scholarships, looking at your email, make sure that you're try to be involved on campus. This could be, clubs. Just make sure that as a freshman that you're really trying to go as many on-campus events as possible, and not only to meet friends but also networking wise. It's really important to do, is to be involved on campus. I know our school, that's why I said check your email, because I know our school every Tuesday and Thursday in the Kobe, which is the business building, they have where every companies come in where you can have an interview with them. So that goes back to just checking your email. But yeah, that's really all I have. And to also not be so hard on yourself, because I know my freshman year I was just so hard on myself, with my grades and everything. Starting right out of high school, I think I had like all A's. I think I had like a C my freshman year, and I like almost freaked out. So just make sure you're not too hard on yourself. College is hard. I know all majors are different, but everyone has something in their major where a class is hard. So don't let anyone tell you that your major isn't hard, because that's just not true. Everyone has a class that they struggle in. So just yeah, I just hope everyone on this call liked everything that we said. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. Thank you. And Elijah, you want to end us off with your recommendations and what you'd like to add?
Yeah, when it comes to my final recommendation, obviously I'm not gonna have as much experience as everyone else looking towards, more of their after college things. I'm still working on this journey myself, but I feel like, especially since when I came into Howard, I was originally applied as a computer science major, which was going to be in the College of Engineering and Architecture, but then I was pivoted towards computer information systems, which is actually in the school of business. So when it came to the school business, there's something that they preach to us every day. They instill it in us. It's in our classes. It's around us. your network is your net worth, y'all. Like everyone you know, that alumni member, that family member, that professor, that recruiter, that friend, that mentor, that dog, that cat, that turtle, whoever you meet or whenever you meet them, that opportunity when it comes to you, it's going to be really important. All those different opportunities, those things in your emails, those programs, those events, those recommendations that are going to play a huge role, those referrals, all those things are going to come a lot from that network that you create around yourself. So I feel like surrounding yourself with those type of people, those people that are successful, those people that are working towards a strong goal, those are the people that you're going to want to surround yourself with because though that's going to be the type of person you're going to become as you see all around you. So I feel like that network aspect is like just so important when it comes to like a lot of the opportunities that you might stumble upon in your college career and even in life. So I feel like that's just super important. And it really helped out for me as well. I'm still working on it myself, but I feel like a lot of the things that came into me and that will come to me are as a result of my network. So I feel like just being able to bridge out and reach out, communicating with different people and things of that nature, I feel like that plays a huge role in your overall career. So yeah, your network is your net worth.
Wow. I am just, first of all, so grateful and just because I am really blessed to have talked to some amazing young folks today. You guys are the future and you are going to do amazing things. Those of you on the call that are listening in, I would definitely make sure you make a note of all of their names because you will see them doing some amazing things in the future. So these are your world changers as well as those of you who are listening in, you are world changers as well. In the chat, I did put a link. We would love your feedback. We'd love to know if you want to hear more of these conversations and topics and things of that nature. I am just grateful. I can't say that enough. I'm really impressed at, just the level of just knowledge and wisdom that you all carry at such a young age. Just remember this moment and many more to come because you guys are going to do phenomenal things. And thank you for blessing our ears and with your experience and your tips. And that if there are no questions from our amazing audience that has been listening in, we just want to sign off and say thank you. I do want to add that all of you who have registered and have attended, you will receive a follow-up email with 2 guides that I've created that are great tools for you to use just as you're navigating your journeys. And you also have, for attending this call, anybody that's listening in, you can schedule 15 minutes coaching session with me for absolutely free. Because as I told our panelists, this is just something I love to do. I want to see our young people grow and be great. So thank you all for your time and don't want to hold you any longer, but have a great, great, great evening. And I hope that you've learned something valuable and let us know what that is in the survey. And until next time, have a great day, everyone. A great evening. Thank you so much to our panelists.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good night, y'all. Hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.